Hey, welcome back to another Mind the Mic podcast. I'm your host Shubz, here by myself for once. For anybody that's listened to any of these podcasts, or if you're listening to all of them, maybe one of those rare humans. I know there's a couple of you out there. First of all, I just want to say grateful if you've listened to hours and hours or every single minute of the podcast. Yes, I did just pick my nose. Well, more scratch that's itchy, but yeah. Anyway, better wipe my finger because it's disgusting, isn't it? But I'll do it again, and then wipe it again. Gotta have these disinfectant wipes, cause I like them. Makes the place smell nice. But yeah, anybody that's listened to the podcast at all, if you've listened to every minute, or you just listen to an episode or two, or maybe just a few reels here and there, like I know a lot of my family. They're like, I ain't listening to hours of your ass talk, but they see the reels and they crack up at those. If you're one of those, any of those people, you supported this journey so far, I just want to say grateful. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. And when I say I appreciate you, not just for the time that you've given, which I'm very, very grateful for, but the fact that you've just shared in a journey that I've created, and everybody around me that's part of this journey has created this little platform that's still it's very small, but in comparison to others, but I ain't comparing myself to nobody or else. We just doing our thing. We plan on being the biggest podcast in the world. That's what I'm putting out there anyway. That's not competition to anybody. There's some beautiful podcasts out there, and I listen to a lot, and I take a lot of game from a lot of them. So yeah, I hope some of them can take game from us and take it back, even if it's just joy. Like if you listen to these and you just feel joy, you feel like that was a cool listen, like, or you just there was crack up. The bros cracked me up, whether it's Stu, Maddie, Uncle Pete, and I on the sports side, because we're always doing the sports stuff and just laughing. There'll be more people that will do sports with us too, because I'm a big NBA fan and UFC, so we've got to work all of that stuff out. But we've been consistent with the rugby league, and I just want to shout out to Maddie. First of all, Maddie has been a legend. She's helped me so much. Like a lot of the stuff you've seen with clips and stuff, she's helped me put all those together. Yeah, so much. Even the writing of descriptions. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be like, well, we create the best descriptions. It's Chat GPT, fam. But like, just to try and structure things properly, because I'm not really good at the old English and structurally. I mean, I can talk, but yeah, English wise, I don't I don't know how to structure sentences or anything like that properly, grammatically, as they say. So shout to Medi for helping me with those. She types out my thoughts and ideas, and then we put it into ChatGPT, and we come up with something. Maybe we change a few things. Planner wise, like she's got the planner going, so all the clips you see, you put into planner, and I taught her how my sort of system of using the planner, so it's all scheduled, and she does all that for me now. Like I don't really have to do any of that. Even just recently started helping me make overlays. So like this little, which way do I go? That way. This little thing. That way. Oh, wait, that way. That little thing. Oh, that way. That way. That little thing up there that's covering my eye. Actually, let me do this, I guess. Yeah, that thing that just went away and came back and went away. That thing. That's an overlay. And yeah, there's other ones that we put the guest faces and names up on the right side of the screen, so the opposite side of where that one is. She helps me do those now too. There's so much work involved, and I want to take you on the journey with me and try and, in a way, share what's going on. So I thought I might as well do an episode. Like, since I'm doing this every day, why not do an episode where I talk about what the last week's been like, and different struggles that I may be facing or things that I'm learning. I plan on doing other shows too where we specifically focus on learning, but it's just me by myself speaking to the mic. I don't know what to call it, so I thought I'd just call it Shubz behind the mic or behind the mic with Shubz. I don't know. Maybe if you want that to be different, write in the comments or message me. If you want to know where to message, right there down in the bottom left corner, Shubz Live. That's me on all platforms. But if you really want to get a hold of me, Instagram's probably the best. Don't bother messaging TikTok or any other platform, because but this is me, Shubz, Maori, father of 3 children, beautiful children, and just a Maori boy trying to chase a dream that he has to build the biggest podcast in the world, to talk to as many interesting human beings as possible that have interesting stories, regardless of platform. Talk to obviously huge platform people, that's the plan too. So we can, because, they have real interesting stories, but there's everyday people that we all know who have interesting stories that I want to touch base with and get to know more and all of that stuff. So, yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with all of this, fam. It's like, it's heavy on, and I'm fortunate enough I've got a solid crew of people. So I've already shouted out Maddie. Shout out Maddie for all the work, all the mahi she does, all the assistance she gives me and helps me to do this so much. Like, yeah, she's a legend. Shout out to the sis, man. What a blessing. She's a blessing to this world, man. Like, straight up, we all are blessings to this world, but in this world of podcasting and what I'm trying to navigate and how, she's definitely helping me so much. Uncle Pete, shout out to my Uncle Pete, man. He's a silent guy, but he's a big soundboard for me. He's keen to try any idea. He doesn't really talk much. Well, he does if you know him, but he's pretty silent. You know what I mean? He's pretty silent. Silent Pete, people call him, or Black Pete. But like, yeah, he's the man. He's the man. Like, how the relationship goes is not my blood uncle, but in Maori or in a lot of Polynesian cultures, I know for sure, uncle doesn't always mean, or auntie doesn't always mean your blood. I don't know if that's the same in your culture, whatever culture you come from, but yeah. So he's my biological father's best friend. They grew up together, like high school, and they moved to Australia, not together. Like, my dad moved first, and then they caught up at a funeral, I think it was, and he caught up with someone else before my dad had come over. That's how it goes. Yeah, my dad was telling him he was coming over, and so my dad and his brother came over to Perth, Western Australia, from all the way in the bottom of Aotearoa, from Invercargill, and yeah, they came over here, him and my Uncle Tam, and I think he's pretty much chasing tail, really, chasing my when I say stepmom, I got like a few, but there's 2 really, but she was the OG one, Davina. Shout out Davina Gilbert. Oh, I don't know if she got married yet, but yeah. So he came over here, chased her. She was a bit of a singer, and yeah, well, my uncle followed not long after. My auntie was already here. My auntie Billy Joe, who was the oldest of my dad's first cousins on his dad's side. Rest in love to my auntie, man. She passed away a few years back. And yeah, a lot of our family came over and followed them over here. But Uncle Pete also came over, and Uncle Pete's been in and around our family always. All the family that come over here, many have stayed with him, lived with him. And yeah, he's just a part of the furniture. And also, even when I was a kid and I'd come over here, he'd always take me to go do things and hang out. And it's pretty much the same now. We still just hang out, like he's my uncle, but we're more like good friends. But yeah, he's a solid man, and looking for a good lady if you got one. Well, he's not looking, but would always be cool to hook him up with someone if you're a good lady. You know what I mean? Because he's a good man for sure. Shout out to Uncle Pete. Shout out to my brother Stu. Brother Stu, I know it's been hard for him to jump on this journey. Not hard because he doesn't want to. It's just that understanding when you're on this journey and what you have to do, and what I sort of, I guess, require of him is outside of the norm, right? And when you do things that are uncomfortable, obviously there's going to be pushback, not just pushback, maybe in your immediate circle or your family, but also pushback in yourself, like in the way you react to things. But shout out to my brother, man. He's learning. You know, Stewie's a solid man, and he's a father of 7. This crazy thing is his oldest is my oldest. They're the same. They're like a month or like a few weeks apart. His oldest was born in the first week of February, I'm pretty sure, and then my oldest was born in the last week. So and they're both 7 this year, and then Stu has 6 more since. So Stu used to live over here in Perth, but him and his little family on their journey over to Brizzy, they went to Brizzy for a bit, Brisbane, and then ended up back in Aotearoa, New Zealand. But I guess they probably have a lot more of a support system, because here they didn't really, you know. Yeah. But I do hope one day that he either comes back here or we end up living close, because man, I love that guy, you know. And his wifey, shout out to the car that leans, you know, she's the bomb, man. She's rock solid, and you know, I know you got to be rock solid to put up with Stewie. Nah, just joking. She's but to have 7 kids and, you know, still be in love and still be, you know, finding their balance and trying to navigate that stuff. Yeah, I've got 3, and I know what it's like just dealing with 3 kids too. Can't imagine 7, man. 7's hectic. But shout out to the fam. Shout out to car that leans. Shout out to my brother Stu Hart. Beautiful people, and I'm glad that my brother's on the journey with me, because when I actually thought of Mind the Mic as a podcast or as a thing to do, I actually thought of Stu. I thought of Stu, and I was like, well, the sports side of it, because I had this vision to create a podcast for years. As you know, if you've watched this since the start, there was 2 other boys here with me, Paddy and Lukey. Paddy's Tongan and Lukey's Maltese, and I'm Maori, so MTM, Mind the Mic, makes up Mind the Mic. And as I said in the episode 44, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It's a 10-minute episode of me. It's the only solo episode on this podcast before this, and it's me just sharing my thoughts on the journey ahead and wishing them luck, and wishing them, not luck, but blessings for their journey. But I had this whole idea to create a sports podcast, like where people could come in, just have a yarn, and we could watch our favorite teams play. I'm a big Warriors supporter in the NRL, New Zealand Warriors. We haven't been going too good this year, and sucks because the anticipation was pretty big after what we did last year. And yeah, I mean, there's still time. We could turn it around. The boys got a good win on the weekend against Penrith, which are, you know, reigning champions, triple champions back to back, last 4 grand finals. So they're missing their best player, but that hasn't really seemed to matter over the years. They're quite a good system. But anyway, Warriors is my favorite team, and I wanted to create content around watching them play every single week. So that was one idea I had for a podcast. So I wanted to do that, and then do a review and a preview show, but do it a little bit different. Do it my style, or like, you know, the styles of whoever wanted to join. And when I thought of the idea to create that sports side of the podcast, because I thought Stu would be perfect for it, like, because him and I banter, we love the Warriors just as much, like. And a lot of the times we would watch the game on the phone. We'd be on a call to each other, or we call each other at halftime, or while he was in New Zealand or in Brisbane, and, you know, we'd watch together. So yeah, I thought of it as an idea to just catch up with my mate a lot more. But at the time when I thought of the idea, I didn't think Stu was in a place to probably do it, and I didn't think maybe his partner, you know, with all their kids and that, they wouldn't put too much pressure on sort of Stu with working and then juggling the kids and trying to give time to his, you know, to his wifey as well. So I didn't ask him initially. So I took the idea to Paddy and Luke, and, you know, they both were keen, grabbed it with both hands. Anybody that knows, obviously, if you watched so far, they by the time the season started, we had done 43 episodes together, but we didn't continue together, and it's all love. They just, you know, life happens. So, but even though that life happened, because I had already planned to do this before I had even gone to them, I thought I created the whole RSS feed, I created the podcast itself. We came up with the name together, all that kind of stuff. You know, obviously, like I said, Maori, Tongan, Maltese, Mind the Mic. That's how the podcast gets its name, and there'll always be a part of the foundation of the podcast. But yeah, that's sort of what happened there. And from then, from episode 44, which is why it's important if you are wanting to see the journey, you go and watch 44 because it's only 10 minutes, but then you see from then on, what happens, what unfolds. But I also wanted to do not just a sports podcast, but I wanted to do an interview podcast and like even a gaming one, which is down the line plans as well. And also wanted to do just different shows. So because the boys ended up leaving and, going to do, their own lives and that, I thought, well, I've already got this. I've set it all up, doing all the editing, everything. Why not bring all my ideas into one podcast instead of doing multiple? So, yeah, here we are. Maddie and I, we started Empathy and Energy, which is a show. It just started as a show that her and I would do just to talk and yarn. And now it's turned into like a show where we break down quotes and things like that. Yeah, and that's been so cool. It's one of my favorite spaces on this whole network, just because one is like physically Maddie and I live in the same vicinity. She's just down the road, so we can collab a bit more in that sense and be like, sis, what are you thinking about this, blah blah blah, and just swap ideas. So when we come to do it, pretty much though, she runs the show, like as in what we're going to talk about most of the time, and then I just give my 2 cents along the journey. Yeah. And then I also started UBU with the Uso Leka. Shout out to my Uso Leka and big thank you to my Uso Leka. And like I said to Leka is his baby mum is my cousin, so obviously conflict of interest. But yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's a real good dude. Father. Maddie's I was gonna say father, but Maddie's a mother too. She has children as well, quite a few children. So in Leka, obviously to my cousin. And then yeah, so that space is sort of us just being men, I guess, being boys and talking about stuff that we're feeling and thinking, along with he likes music, so we I like to rap a little bit, just rhyme a little bit. So we often play music and just vibe and talk a lot of rubbish, but also talk some truth and share some experiences. And those shows have been going for like 13 weeks straight now, which is pretty awesome. 13, 14 weeks, I think it is, which is crazy. Yeah, and we plan on doing them all for a long time to come. The sports has been going quite well. Uncle Pete sits in with us on the sports, but yeah, so my idea was to do all of those, and then I started doing interviews. So yeah, we're also going to do a show coming up soon where Maddie and Stu interview me about the interviews I've done, and which is going to be a good refresher, but also to show love back to all those interviews. And speaking of the interviews, I just want to shout out to Elijah Taylor. Even though he inspired me to keep going, to message as many people as possible, which I've done, and it's been crazy. Like close to 100 interviews now, which was mind blowing. Like of just all different people, and I don't plan on stopping. Like wait till I get another 10,000 under my belt, baby, and hopefully I'll be better. I know I'm an amateur, like this isn't what I do, I was never trained in this, but how do you train people for this, especially online? At this stage, yeah, all of the interviews have been done on Zoom. Some of them have been from the same city I live in, but it's just easier to do it Zoom at the moment. Setup wise, we could do it in person for sure, but yeah, we just haven't yet. But yeah, that's Mind the Mic podcast. We're on every platform. If you've listened this far, I'm sure you already know we're on every platform. But if you don't, check us out. I'm gonna do more of these in future, but at this stage, I think I'm gonna put this up tonight. So this will be episode 171. So 171 episodes. And let me see, it's May 21st. So I'll put this up after I finish. May 21st, 171 episodes we've done. That's crazy because I think it was first week of January we launched, and then the first week of February the boys we smashed out heaps. And shout out to the boys, man. They did, Petty and Lukey, we did a lot in that first month. Part of it probably made them even more, like they couldn't do it because it was pretty hectic. But shout out to the boys, they got that done. And then from first week of February, I think it was the first week of February or second, till now is when episode 44 drops, and it's just been ham. Interviews drop every day, fam. So Make sure you check them out. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Appreciate you all. Anybody that's still listening, much love. Mind the Mic podcast on all platforms. I'm gonna keep dropping these too. Appreciate you.